Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Let's dive right into today's stories. First up is an entitled People Tale. My family's ranch has been ours for almost 100 years. My great-grandfather bought these 40 acres back in 1936, and it's been handed down through the generations. 5 years ago, I inherited it from my dad and have been living here quietly ever since. It's about an hour outside Houston, far enough for that peaceful rural vibe, but close enough to drive into the city when I need to. When I moved in, the surrounding area was mostly empty, just a handful of farms and ranches. But over the past couple of years, a developer snatched up the 100 acres next door and built Pinewood Estates, one of those upscale, cookie-cutter subdivisions with flashy gates and oversized houses crammed onto tiny lots. At first, I didn't care much. The construction was loud, sure, but I figured it'd settle down once people moved in. I couldn't have been more wrong. About 6 months after the homes were finished and families settled in, weird stuff started happening on my land. Strangers were walking their dogs along my creek. Kids were biking across my pasture. One Saturday, I even caught a couple picnicking under the huge oak tree by my fence. The first few times I was nice about it. I'd stroll over and calmly say, "Hey, this is private property." They'd usually reply, "Oh, we didn't know. Pack up and leave." But then I'd spot the same folks back again days later. It got old fast. Things hit a boiling point one weekend when I found a group of about 10 people setting up a full-on birthday party under that oak tree. Tables, chairs, cake, balloons, the whole deal. I walked up trying to stay calm. "Excuse me, folks, this is private property. You can't hold your party here." A woman later I'd learn her name was Lisa stepped forward, looking at me like I'd lost my mind. "What do you mean? This is community land. The HOA told us we could use it." I blinked confused. "HOA? I'm not part of any HOA. This is my ranch, me family's owned it for generations." Lisa rolled her eyes like I was the idiot. "Well, things have obviously changed. The HOA president said all this," she waved her arm around, "is now community green space for Pinewood Estates residents." I felt my temper rising but kept it in check. "Ma'am, I don't know what your HOA president told you, but they're wrong. This is my land and you all need to leave. Now." Lisa huffed, "I'm calling James," and whipped out her phone. James, it turned out, was the HOA president. While she dialed, more people showed up with gifts and food. This was spiraling out of control. Lisa shoved her phone at me. "Here, talk to James. He'll clear this up." I took it. "Hello." A slick, patronizing voice answered, "Hi there. I hear there's some confusion about the community green space." "No confusion on my end," I shot back. "This is my private property. I've got the deed. My family's owned it for nearly a century. Your people are trespassing." James chuckled like we were buddies sorting out a mix-up. "When our development was approved, the county rezoned that area for public use. It's a conservation easement now. We've told our residents they can enjoy the natural space. It's all legit." I was floored. This was news to me. That's impossible. I never got any notice about rezoning and I sure didn't agree to it. "These things get lost in the paperwork shuffle," James said, brushing it off. "It's all filed with the county. Take it up with them Monday. For now, I'd appreciate it if you let our residents enjoy their event." Before I could argue, he hung up. I stood there, phone in hand, furious. Turning back to Lisa and her crew, I said, "I don't care what James told you. This is my land. Pack up and go, or I'm calling the sheriff." Lisa smirked. "Go ahead. They'll tell you what James did. This is community property now." So I did. While waiting for the sheriff, I grabbed my deed and tax records from my filing cabinet. No way was I letting these people steal my land with some fake rezoning story. A deputy named Officer Daniels, a no-nonsense woman, arrived 20 minutes later. I showed her my papers and explained everything. "Let me talk to them," she said, heading over to the party. I couldn't hear much, but I saw Lisa gesturing wildly and the guests looking annoyed. After 10 minutes, Daniels came back with Lisa trailing behind. "Sir," she said, "I've told MS. Carter here that your records check out. There's no rezoning or easement on file with the county. These folks are trespassing." Lisa's face turned beet red. "This is absurd." James wouldn't lie. "MS. Carter," Daniel said firmly, "you and your guests need to leave now, or I'll have to issue trespassing charges." Grumbling, they started packing up. I caught bits of their chatter how I was ruining a kid's birthday and so selfish. After they left, Daniel suggested, "Put up clear or no trespassing signs and talk to a lawyer about this HOA mess. They're feeding their residents nonsense." That night I called my cousin Emily, a real estate attorney. She was baffled by the HOA's claims and promised to dig into it Monday. Sure enough, she called back with a bombshell. The developer tried to rezone your land as a conservation easement, claiming it was part of their purchase, she said. It was denied because they had no proof of ownership, but they're acting like it went through. It's a straight-up land grab. She had view, I said, sending a cease and desist letter and beefing up security. Over the next week, I plastered private property, no trespassing signs everywhere and mailed the letter to the HOA demanding they stop lying to residents. Their reply? A letter from their lawyer claiming my ranch was historically used for recreation, a lie, and that recent zoning changes allowed public access to the creek. It was nonsense dressed up as legalese. The trespassing didn't stop, it got worse. People laughed at my signs, saying James told us they're not valid or the HOA said to ignore them. I called the sheriff so often they knew my voice. Deputies would shoo people off, but they couldn't stay 24/7. One morning I found a 6-foot wide path mowed through my wild prairie, a habitat I'd left untouched for wildlife. Someone had driven a riding mower onto my land. That was it. I called a fencing company and ordered an 8-foot chain link fence around the whole property. Expensive but worth it. I also got security cameras and an electric gate installed. The crew started Monday and had half the fence up by Wednesday. That evening, James himself rolled up in a sleek black Lexus, dressed like he was off to a golf course. I was filthy from gardening when I met him at my driveway. "What do you want?" I asked, not hiding my irritation. He flashed a fake smile. "I'm James Thornton, Pinewood Estates HOA president. Thought we should meet to clear up this misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding," I said. "You're telling people to trespass on my land." "Stop it." His smile didn't budge. When we built Pinewood, this area's natural beauty was a big selling point: the creek, the fields, the trees. It's in our brochures. Our homeowners expect access. "Your brochures don't trump my property rights," I snapped. "Maybe not technically," he admitted, "but our homes average do law 800,000. People paying that expect amenities. How about a deal? The HOA pays you a yearly fee for limited access. We'll make it official." I thought for 2 seconds. No, his smile faded. "No. This land's been in my family for generations. It's not a park or a rental." His tone hardened. "You don't know who you're dealing with. Our HOA has pull in this county zoning changes, fast-tracked permits. I could stop your fence with one call, claiming it breaks rules." I stepped closer. "Here's your reality check, James. This is my land. Your HOA has no power here. You've been lying and breaking the law. Interfere with my fence and I'll see you personally." He glared. "You'll regret this." Then he sped off. The next morning, a county inspector showed up, citing a complaint about my fence. I'd done my research, it was legal and on my land. The inspector checked and left with no issues. The fence, gate, and cameras were done by week's end. I also adopted 2 German Shepherds, Odin and Freya, from a police dog rescue. They're well-trained and intimidating. I added signs: property protected by security cameras and guard dogs. Trespassers will be prosecuted. I threw in electric fence signs too, though it's not wired. The bluff worked. The first weekend after, my cameras showed Pinewood residents approach, see the signs and dogs, and turn back. But then 3 teens tried climbing the fence one Sunday. I grabbed Odin and Freya and caught 2 on my side, one straddling the top. "Explain yourselves," I said. They froze at the sight of the dogs. "The dogs won't hurt you unless you run," I said, "but they'll chase if you do. Gate's 50 yards that way. Leave or I call the sheriff." They nodded and scurried off. I added more cameras there. The HOA sent a letter claiming my aggressive measures caused community distress and demanded I remove the dogs and cameras. Emily laughed. "It's meaningless. They kept trying animal control, dogs were fine. Lighting complaints within code. Fence height disputes, legal. James even called the sheriff, claiming my electric fence hurt a kid. Deputies saw it wasn't electrified and warned him about false reports. I hired a PI to dig into why they were obsessed with my land. He found Pinewood marketed my creek as a community amenity. charging $30,000 extra per home over $3 million total. If residents learned it was a lie, the HOA and developer were toast. My lawyer sent a letter detailing their fraud and harassment, demanding they stop, admit my land's private, and pay $150,000 or we'd sue. James met me at a coffee shop with his attorney. We got off on the wrong foot, he said. You committed fraud, I replied. They offered $50,000. I refused. After 2 hours, we settled. They'd clarify my land status, pay $150,000, cover my security costs, build a 30-foot buffer zone, and never challenge my rights again. I wouldn't sue. The trespassing stopped, James resigned amid resident backlash, and I upgraded my ranch with the money. 6 months later, new HOA leaders like Tom and Laura sued the developer for fraud, winning $4 million. Richard faced charges and fled. I now host monthly nature walks for a fee, sell produce, and enjoy my secure, peaceful land thanks to standing my ground. Next is a malicious compliance story. I'm a support manager at a company selling credit card readers. One day, a new staffer got a call from a loud guy demanding the CEO, refusing to explain why. I took it, posing as a high-up manager. He was Mike, owner of Mike's Diners Even locations. He was mad I wasn't the CEO, insisting only an owner could help. I assured him I could fix anything. Can you cancel my accounts? He barked. Yes, with a written request, I said, asking why. He yelled, have him call me, and hung up. Next day, the CEO showed me Mike's email demanding all accounts canceled and a refund, claiming one diner's DIVYCE was unusable. Logs showed a fixable issue unreported. The CEO said cancel them. We did. Mike freaked out when his DIVYCES died, begging to uncancel. He just wanted attention, not closure. DIVYCES resumed, but I hope he learned threats can backfire. Thanks for reading. Please like and subscribe. You'll see you tomorrow.